had it. Oh, sorry.
I did, didn't I? I gave it to you last Thursday.
You gave me yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine, that's what I meant.
Oh, but
I
I
didn't
don't
fill
have.
Eric's out, I tried to, couldn't copy his signature, I didn't have tracing paper.
Oh, you should have asked me, I have a copy of it.
All right, ready?
You thought it was gonna be calm.
Good evening. Gonna call to order the Tuesday, January 28, 2014 public hearing of the Tilton Planning Board.
Wait a minute, forgot to put the mics out.
You
are a hot mess, girlfriend.
Again.
Oh, this is my last one, so might as well make a mess
We're all
of it.
big mouth enough. We're all big mouth enough, it wouldn't have mattered.
True story.
All right. Take two.
Take two. Just put this over here.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Let's try it again.
Yep,
All right.
lights are on.
All right. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
All right. Good evening. I'd like to call to order, the time being 6:34. Call to order the Tuesday, January 28, 2014 public hearing of the Tilton Planning Board. First on the agenda is Planning Board Case 14-01. Site plan review to remove existing building and construct a 3,400 square foot retail/office building with parking, stormwater treatment, and new sewage disposal system. The property is located at 304 Laconia Road in the Resort Commercial District, tax map R20/27. Do I have to go through all of this?
Yep.
All right, and then they also have Planning Board Case 14-01-A. Applicant is applying for a conditional use permit, groundwater protection at 304 Laconia Road in the Resort Commercial District, R20/27. And Planning Board Case 1401-B. Applicant is applying for a conditional use permit within the wetlands buffer zone at 304 Laconia Road in the Resort Commercial District, R20/27. All right. Right.
Two letters.
What's that?
Did you get these two letters?
Yeah, they're on the table there for you, I made copies.
That's it. Just this one
They're
here and this one.
important.
All right. Well, first we have to open the application.
No, I know, but I just wanted to make sure.
I'll read those in a second. I have reviewed the application and I found it to be substantially complete.
I'll make a motion to approve, to accept the application for case number 14-01, 14-01A, and 14-01B for the 304 Laconia Road for the removal and site plan and conditional use permits on the property.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
All right.
Hi, Julie.
So,
Sit next to Bob. He's
just wanna
almost,
read this real quick.
sometimes he is.
Who seconded the motion? That's,
Sandy.
oh, no, she made it. Who seconded?
Elaine.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
this, yes.
if Julia is going to join us, I need to swear her in before we start.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can I have Julia's?
Yep.
We have to do a little swearing in. A little swearing. Little legal
I'll do the
swearing.
rest later, but we'll get her done anyway.
Little legal
Okay.
swearing.
Because I wasn't here, so we
We're gonna start running now.
Oh, it's all in the packet that we got sent.
Thanks.
Okay. Alright, you ready? You raise your right hand. I,
I,
Julia Harvey,
Julie Hardy,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge
discharge
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
incumbent on me
incumbent on me
as a member of the planning board
as a member of the planning board
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules
agreeably to the rules
and regulations of this Constitution
and regulations of this Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay? I'd like get you to sign right there and put the date on it.
There, here's the ones that have it right here.
So excited. I do.
Okay? Back to her, I have to sign it. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I should go around and introduce everyone so that everyone knows who everyone is.
We did that before you came.
Okay. Never mind. What happens when you show up late? Not as late as Julie, but it's still late.
And I was going to let Christine at least be part of the meeting and watch it, and if she still wants to be, then I can swear her in later in the meeting, but figured poor girl will probably want to see what we do first.
Sure.
Okay? All
All
right,
right. So I guess,
it's up to you.
all right. So I guess we'll ask the gentleman in the green, try again.
Mr. Chairman, Planning Board member Stephen Smith of Steve Smith and Associates, here tonight representing the applicant owner, Joe Sterner. Joe was going to be here tonight, but was homesick and cannot make it. First of all, I'd like to apologize for dragging everybody out on this very cold evening, but also like to thank you for making me top billing. I usually am the last thing on the agenda, and it's 10 o'clock at night before I get to address the
You are the agenda.
That's a little unusual for me, so, but anyways. As you mentioned, this is tax lot R20-27, it's 304 Laconia Road. It's in the resort commercial zone. It's a little under an acre of land area, and it's got about 200 feet of road frontage on the road. It's in a couple overlay districts or zones, the groundwater protection overlay district and then the wetlands buffer zone district. And that requires us to file for conditional use permits on both those. And I submitted those as, excuse me, as part of the site plan application. Before I get into discussion on the plans that I brought, I wanted to just go back over a little bit of the historical, what I know about the historical information on this property since I've got involved. And that is that the predecessor entitled to Joe Sterner came into the planning board in May of 2011 for a conceptual review. And at that time, they were proposing a 5,000 square foot building with some parking and a new septic. And I believe, based on everything I can find, this is pretty close, or is the plan that was brought to this board for that conceptual review. And that was by WAPTI Management. I guess that's how you pronounce it, W-A-P-I-T-I. And at that time, and during that meeting, from the reading of the record, the board suggested that following site plan submission be completed when they come back, and one was a septic permit for new septic system, updated a driveway permit for New Hampshire DOT, groundwater conditional use permit with site plan application, and if the building was going to be greater than 3,000 square feet, it required special exception from the zoning board of adjustments. There wasn't any mention in there about wetlands. I didn't see any wetlands on the plan. I'm not sure it was mapped at the time, so there was no discussion about the possibility of conditional use permit for activity within the buffer of a wetland. After they came into that meeting, they submitted an application to the ZBA, and the records indicate they actually submitted for variance. And at the meeting, it was clarified and cleared up that it was a special exception. They reviewed that plan. The ZBA found that it met all the conditions for a special exception, and they granted a special exception for a 5,000 square foot building, or up to a 5,000 square foot building to be placed on this site. Your resort commercial zone allows up to 3,000. Beyond that, you have categories, and when you get to 5,000, it requires a special exception. I believe that after that happened, they sold the property. Something happened, and the property got sold. My client, Mr. Sterner, bought the property and filed with the New Hampshire DOT and obtained a driveway permit for a 5,000 square foot commercial building in April of 2012. From what he tells me, he came in to get a building permit. He had the special exception granted by the ZBA. He came in here all gung ho for a building permit and was told that, well, you have no site plan approval, you can't have a building permit. And that's when he came to see me. I came before this board in November of 2013 for another conceptual discussion. It's been a long time since I've been over here in Tilton, and I had some questions about applications and how the process was going to go and what we were to do. We reviewed, I showed him this plan, and I showed him a concept plan that we were thinking about doing. We had some general discussions about that. I got the information I needed. I left, and since then have been trying to get the work done and do the work necessary. So this was the plan, I believe, that was submitted to that general discussion. The first plan I'd like to go over with you, and these plans are in your package. I've colored them up to make them a little easier to review and understand. This is the existing conditions plan of the site, and I actually brought some pictures. I happened to be smart enough this summer or fall to take some pictures when the snow was off the ground. And you can see, and these are, and I apologize, I have 5 sets. You have to share them a little bit, but that will give you a better sense of what the property looks like out there without the snow on the ground. On the plan, this is the Route 3, Laconia Road. This is the property that we're talking about tonight. There is an existing structure. It's a little over 1,500 square feet. It's a 30-foot wide by somewhere over, I think it's 56 or 57 feet long. And as you can see, it sets almost entirely within the front setback and the zoning within the district here along the road. There is a paved driveway that comes up into here, and in some cases, if you drove by, you wouldn't see all of it. It's pretty well broken up. It hasn't been maintained, and through the field survey, we located this paved driveway area. We believe that the leach field for this particular use here is in this location on this mounded area over here. These crosshatch areas represent the wetlands that we had mapped by Shower Environmental, wetland scientists for the state of New Hampshire. We had him map the wetlands, we had him do a functions and values assessment of the property. Then of course the red represents that 20-foot buffer that's required under the wetlands ordinance without a conditional use permit. And then these black lines in here indicate the setbacks for the site itself. Additionally, there exists today a catch basin in this location here. There is a 12-inch, as the best we can determine, pipe that comes down here and outlets into this 15-inch that crosses Route 3 in this location here. This pipe is not in very good condition at this moment in time. That's pretty much what the site looks like today. If you look at the pictures, you'll see I shaded the tree line. In those pictures, the first couple of pictures, you'll see that tree line back there. And you'll see this area all in here.
Right.
And pretty much most of this lot has been disturbed out there. I don't know how, I wasn't around when it took place. You'll see mounding of materials in the pictures. You can see the tree line, and you can see the mature tree line behind there. This was cut at some point in time, so those smaller saplings that you're seeing along this tree line, this tree line in here. So this area has been pretty well disturbed up there, and I don't know if it was the previous owner prior to Sterner or someone actually prior to that. The second sheet in your package is our proposed improvements plan. And when I came in to talk with the planning board back in, I guess it was November, not November, what the date was. When I came in April, we were originally talking about a 5,000 square foot building. That's what his intention was when he bought the property, was to build a 5,000 square foot building on here and hopefully break it up into 3 retail spaces with some office space upstairs. And we have since changed that program a little bit, and I'll discuss that with you. But this plan represents a new parking area that we're proposing, and if you go back to the very first plan, you can see we're following reasonably close to what was originally presented to the ZBA and discussed with the planning board. But our proposal is for a new entrance in with a parking area in front with, I believe, 21 parking spaces and an area for a dumpster. The building in the back here with the walkways and accessways on the side for emergency purposes. A detention pond in the lower area, which was represented on, just as a square box on the original plan, and our proposal for a leach field over in this corner, which would get us the furthest possible distance away from, actually, any of the wetlands that are out there. We did look at putting the building in front, putting the parking in back, and we ran into several problems. One is to get the grade to get up into the parking lot in the back. The other is that if we put the parking lot in the back and the building in front, there'll be so much grading in the back that it would go all the way back to the boundary line to level it out, to get it down, to get access into the building. So basically, because of elevation grades coming off the highway and such, and the way shape of the property, it really functions with the parking lot in front and the building located in the back. As part of this proposal, we needed to shift this driveway probably 4, maybe 5 feet south from the driveway permit that Joe obtained in April of 2012 or in 2012. And also, we felt the need to replace this pipe in here, which was in pretty bad shape, which is in the road right-of-way itself. So we have designed it, moving the driveway a bit, putting a catch basin on both sides so you don't have any ponding of water or water running over the access point itself, and then replacing that pipe down to the 15-inch pipe where it crosses the road and goes where it goes down at the stream. The building itself, on the next page, the building itself is somewhat of a 2-story. It's 1-story. The first this lower level, our proposal is for retail space, and actually the retail space, total retail space ends up being 2,696 square feet of retail commercial space. And then we're proposing 1,200 square feet roughly in the center above as storage. And ideally, the client would like to have 3 small retail stores here ranging from 900 square feet, 800 to 900 square feet. So they're going to be reasonably small retail spaces. And even if it was all taken by one retailer, still reasonably small in size itself. And then the upstairs, of course, would be used more than likely for storage for the different uses that would be here in order to maintain their product for sale. When you look at the parking, the 21 parking spaces, one of them would be handicap. That would be 1 space for each 128 square feet of retail commercial space. or if you looked at the gross floor area with the storage, it would be one space for every 184 square feet of gross floor area. The original plan called for one space for every 200 square feet itself. We are proposing, as I said, a new septic system. I would assume at this moment in time, being a septic designer, licensed septic designer, we are looking at more than likely not a conventional system because of the tightness of the lot. It may be a clean system itself, which generates a smaller leach field, and a lot of the stuff is handled in the tanks themselves. Environmentally, it's better, and when we have a small space to work in. We haven't designed that because we weren't sure where we were going with this. We have evaluated it. We understand that anything through this board, we'd have to get that approved. That will, no matter where you build on this lot, septic design will require a waiver from the town for the separation distance from wetlands. There's nowhere on this site that you could build and put a septic system and meet that setback.
Do you meet the state?
I don't even think you can meet the state. No, I don't think there's a place on the site, given the wetlands being both down the rock and the sides, that you could even meet the state. But under the state criteria, because it's a pre-existing law, they would give you a waiver, and that again is one of the reasons why we would look at something a little more sophisticated than just a stone and trench type of leach field in this particular area. We did provide, I know this has gone to Conservation Commission. I foolishly assumed, and I didn't really clearly understand your system. I thought I would be going to a Conservation Commission meeting to review this with them. I would be notified, and I got the information back. They had a meeting, they looked at it. I would have loved to have been there, and we are very happy to go and talk with them. But I had my engineer and my partner who did the work. I will give you, Mr. Chairman, a response that we will be sending to the Conservation Commission relative to the site. But the drainage analysis, stormwater management plan, they were concerned with because it wouldn't support a 100-year storm in the detention pond. Or at least we didn't say that in the study. I had my partner, Bill Stack, who's the engineer, licensed engineer on this project, go back and review that. And we had to make one minor adjustment for this pond to handle the 100-year storm event, and that was we had to raise the berm 1/10 of a foot. So it was almost exact to the 100-year storm event itself. But the overall storm management plan provides detention treatment for the 2, 10, 25-year storms, overall containment for the 100-year storm. In the pre-development, post-development, after the development is done, there will be the runoff leaving the site will be reduced. It'll be less than what takes place today because of the treatment and the detention on the site. The state of New Hampshire has reviewed this drainage. We submitted our drainage analysis, storm management plan with our driveway permit because we submitted a new driveway permit for that adjustment. And they have approved that. They do not have a problem with this. At first, they didn't understand that the pipe was already there. When they reviewed the plans, they assumed that we just put a new pipe in there. And we got back and met with them and said, no, this is an existing pipe that's there now. We are just going to upgrade it and fix it. It's not working. It's old. And so they have no issue with our drainage analysis, with our storm management plan. There won't be water dumping out onto the road. And they agree with our upgrade of the pipes and the drainage itself. One of the things that did surprise us, however, was when we submitted the driveway permit, just months after Mr. Sterner had submitted and got a driveway permit for a project for 5,000 square feet, they have come back and requested that we put a pass-through lane on this side of the road. We are still working with them on that. We're not really understanding why now that has to take place. It's gonna cost my client an extra probably $25,000, and he'd already gotten the driveway permit based on putting 5,000 square feet of commercial space here. So we are gonna be meeting with the state. I understand that would be a requirement to do any development here. We understand we have to have an updated driveway permit, and of course, ultimately, if the state says we have to put that in, it will have to be installed in order for my client to move forward. And I would not want to do anything different than that. One of the other questions in the Conservation Commission letter back to us was about other wetland. I've attached a map with that letter that I gave your chairman. I have a couple extra copies. We did have our property entirely mapped, and we did have the abutting property mapped in the back and the side. We met with the owner because we were interested in possibly, if the back was better, that we could buy that piece, because he said that subdivided, this board approved the subdivision of 3 lots over here, that we'd be able to buy that, move that building back, get it out of the buffer and do something different. And we discovered that there's more wetlands actually to the south in this area here. It starts up in this corner, all drains this way. There is a little wetland in this map, right in the very back, right there. This is where we are. That's our little wetland. That's our building there. There is a little wetland right directly behind us. So taking the building and moving it back, we would have been in between 2 wetlands. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. So we didn't go through with an offer for a purchase, but we did get permission to go on the site. We did get permission to do that mapping. We had the certified wetland scientist evaluate that for us. Additionally, I submitted functions and values report that was done by the certified wetland scientist because I knew that was important as part of the application. And that wetlands report by Peter Schauer concluded that the principal functions and values are supported by the wetland on this parcel. I mean, no principal functions and values are supported on the wetlands, by the wetlands on this parcel. It says the entire lot has been heavily influenced by the past clearing, land use, and soil disturbance. It says the site wetlands function as groundwater discharge site rather than a groundwater recharge area, and that is that the soil conditions here, groundwater recharge will allow the water to eventually soak into the ground, but because of the type of material up here, that really doesn't happen, and these are shallow wetlands, and instead of it going in, it will either dry out at the top or it will run off because of the slope that's there. So there's no really recharge ability in this type of soil out there. And that was all submitted with our applications on both sides. Also, I would like to say that the other reason we have the building back here is it allows us to use the 3 sides of the foundation in order to not have to grade back and cut in and disturb more wetlands by putting the building here and the parking here. If we reversed it, we'd have to slope that parking lot up and get into the wetlands. So that's another reason why we have positioned it where we have. We realize there are some site conditions here. I think we've looked at them and evaluated them and have done the best that we can to protect this area, this groundwater area here, protection area that you have in your zone. I believe this zone allows, if you're not in this groundwater protection area, it allows, I believe, up to 60% well coverage. And I realize it gets reduced because of the groundwater protection zone. We would be at 35%, a little over 35% with this particular design and with the storm management plan to go along with it, with a leach field that will be, again, we can't make that leach field perfect in terms of setbacks. We can make that leach field considerably better by technology today. We can get it further away from the wetlands than where it is now, and this will get that building out of the setback area here, get it back on the property itself, open it up.
This building is existing as is it?
Excuse me?
The building you're talking about, it's not existing yet.
Oh, no, it exists.
It is there.
Well, the one I'm talking about, not this building.
There's an old house there.
An old house, Bob.
It's
I
coming
know
down.
that one. I'm talking about.
That's existing.
Nothing else exists on the
Yeah, that you've got. That I know.
Right, no, this is, we're proposing that.
I'm talking about the building that you're talking about putting back there.
This one here?
Yes. Is that going to be, you're planning on having that on a slab or,
Yeah, you'll enter the slab on grade in this area here.
you're not planning on any
Foundation.
basements or anything
Yeah.
like that?
No.
Strictly slab above the ground built?
Right. Slopes and stuff doesn't, help us any
Okay.
in terms of that.
Now, do you plan on going and visiting with the Conservation Commission so
Right.
that you can,
Yes, I indicated to your secretary that we'd be happy to go meet with them. Again, didn't know they were meeting.
Yeah.
Did
Excuse
you
me,
get
I
a
probably won't be
copy,
the
did you
one.
get a copy of their letter?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And I've actually responded to that, to the chairman, because that's the only time I had between the time I got it last Friday,
right,
was to be able to respond at least to
We'll
the
make a copy
chairman.
of that.
I am going to submit that to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
And more than likely, my partner, Bill Stack, the engineer that did the design, will be going to that meeting, because I'm going to try to be on a vacation.
Yeah, because they meet on February 17th, this conservation meets again.
and have you met, you said something about the DOT was all right with your plan? Now, have you guys finalized things with the DOT yet, or no?
Well, that depends. If we just agree on the pass-through lane and design that, we have an agreement. But we felt, number one, that it's unreasonable, based on the type of uses that we're talking about here.
Right.
We aren't talking major retail space here, even if it's one user. And the state, less than a year ago, issued my client that same driveway permit 4 feet in a different location without that requirement. So we need to go in and talk with them and understand why they're requesting that.
Right, but you have met with him since the town received this letter from dated the 11th, where he's talking about the drainage pipe.
Yes, we've had a couple conversations with them and letters back and forth with them, that is
Okay.
correct. And I'm surprised if they shared that with you, they didn't share it.
Well, to
You
my
can just
knowledge,
give me
No, I haven't seen anything on that.
a second here, I will.
we haven't seen anything else.
What letter are you referring to?
This was dated December 11th,
Yes, we have a January 14th letter.
Yes, there's another letter on the table,
We
Sandy,
have a
that I
January
gave you a
4
copy of the other
January
day.
17th letter says, after reviewing the existing conditions at the proposed driveway location for this project, District 3 is requiring the construction of a bypass lane
Oh, okay.
in the eastbound lane. The minimum bypass lane width shall be 12 feet, and the tapered length shall
Yeah,
meet the da-da-da-da-da-da.
okay, we did get that.
Yes. I think we even have another one.
After
I don't
December-
have another one.
You don't have one, they might have one.
I have a lot of data here.
Now, did you, on their DOT's letter of December 11th, they mentioned the fact that you needed to get an easement?
Well, they did because they didn't know the pipe was already there.
Okay.
They thought we were putting in a new pipe in front of someone else's property in the right-of-way, and we got back with them and shared the information, said, we're not providing a new pipe, it's there. It's pre-existing, we're just making it work. It's in there now, and it's old, and needs to be replaced, and they're okay with that.
Are you going to be able to address the Conservation Commission's concern about the soil type?
Yeah, we don't believe that they are correct, and we have the information to provide for them. I think it was a matter of, unfortunately, I think we sent them a bad photo that they really couldn't see, but we've been back and checked all that data, and yes, we have that. And we've addressed that in our letter to the chairman.
Are you through with the letter?
if in fact an additional lane is required, which I might add is in keeping with things that we run into with DOT in the past on Route 3. Understand that Route 3 is in failure. It has more traffic than the road was designed for.
I-
So, is your client ready to move ahead if that is a requirement?
I believe so.
Okay.
What we don't understand is that, and I understand what you're saying because we have experience on Route 3, but we haven't changed the project in, as I said, 6, 7 months ago. They issued it for 5,000 square feet without any conditions. We simply moved it 4 feet and improved the drainage, and because we had the plan, we submitted it and asked for that relocation. That's when they said they would like to have the passing. We don't understand why now. We've really reduced the retail use in this building. It's not 5,000 square feet, and we haven't really changed anything about the site. And all of a sudden, I mean, you can understand, my client's concerned, he bought the property, got the driveway permit, and now all of a sudden, he's got an extra $25,000 to spend to build on the site that he'd already got a driveway permit for. So, yes, please understand that we will do whatever the state finally says he has to do. We just want a clarification of that. And as always, the state has their rights, and if they impose that, my client will have to do that in order to have this project. I don't question that whatsoever. Same with this board, with any conditions that you place on this, that would be your prerogative, that would be my client's responsibility to take care of that. Yes, sir.
I'm just, pardon my ignorance, I guess, but it says detention pond bottom 198 feet.
Well, that's based on the assumed benchmark we have.
Right, but then there's a top, so that whole pond is only gonna be about 2 feet deep? Is
Well, that pond, well, it's, 198 to 200, 2.36 is the berm. Well, it's not a very big lot. Not a very big site that we're dealing with. A lot of drainage bypasses it over this way above. If you look at the topography, it goes this way, where this drainage, this wetland drains. So,
Which way is the water gonna shoot off that parking lot?
it drains this way, right into the pond.
So the wetlands on the left
Well,
side.
you have the wetland on this side,
Right.
which drains this way. If you look at that map I gave you, you can see that the wetland scientist has drawn in, and actually I have a map that was done when the subdivision took place, when the wetland was just right over here. I don't know who mapped it, or whether there was a wetland scientist involved before, but it drains this way here.
What about that one to the right?
This one,
Yeah.
that's on our property. That's just an isolated wetland right in this area here.
It doesn't drain anywhere.
Well, I think eventually it drains down this way, given, looking at the contours, it drains this way here, right towards the detention basin that we have, depending on how much water may or may not get in it. It's a reasonably small area. If you go up there in summer conditions, you'll see where it's been rutted up, you can see where activity has been all over the site up there. So,
There was a mention of a concern with the snow storage. Where did I see that?
It's in the letter.
It's in that one.
One snow storage area.
Conservation. I'm looking at where snow storage is, and
It's on either end
I
of the
see
parking
two
lot.
places.
I know, it's, you need a bigger table.
Sure. You want to see it?
No, I've got where the snow storage is here, I'm just looking for what they were saying about the
One snow storage area is located next to the proposed well, that's all it
Okay,
says.
well, from what we gather from the Conservation Commission, they were concerned that in larger events, it would be flooding out the road, number one, because of the way the report was drafted for the 10, 25, and 50-year storm. even though the pond was physically designed to almost meet a 100-year storm. It wasn't mentioned in the report. So I had my partner engineer go back and analyze that storm drainage analysis that he did, and he determined that we would have to raise the berm around here by 1/10 of a foot to have this store the 100-foot storm.
But their concern is that one area of your snow storage is right next to the proposed well.
That is true, and our address to them was that, in this letter, is that this is going to be an artesian well with encasement, and that snow storage should not bother that well. Matter of fact, there's probably going to be more salt spread coming down this road than there will ever be on this lot. But in terms of the well itself, with the encasement, and being an artesian well, not a dug well, should not be a problem.
What is the date check tool?
Excuse me.
The date check, they've got down here, the date check tool included with this application is not for this lot.
Well, I'm not really quite certain. I had my, as I say, Bill Stack will put the thing together, but we have to get this off the website. This is a soil map that we believe they said wasn't correct, and it actually is. It's physically the site. And then in the wetlands functions and values analysis,
Yep,
we are required to do a check on the website for endangered species,
right.
and you have to put in the site and get the report. That was done, I checked that, that is the site. I don't know what they're talking about on the date. That's why we need to talk with them, because
Yeah.
we're not certain that, we don't find anything astray in terms of the site and the information provided for the site based on the websites that we went to from the state to get the information.
Okay.
Well, in the very end of their letter, I think they say the inconsistencies in the that there are inconsistencies in the application relative to the correct acreage, and they mention the data check tool again. So,
Well, the correct acreage has been surveyed, so I will stand by the acreage that we are quoting. On the data tool check, you can't check it by the exact acreage. It doesn't work that way. You have to get within plus or minus an acre, acre and a half. You take an area, most of the time when I do a check for that site, I take a larger area than the area I'm in, because it's almost impossible to pinpoint it exactly on the site. But what it does is gives them enough information, a general tool, to whether there's anything near. Because if there's anything near, it doesn't have to be on that site, because understand, this is a reasonably small site. If
Oh, I
there's
know.
some endangered species anywhere near this, we would have to do a follow-up and a further report, and they would do an analysis for us.
Right.
So we can't do an exact acreage check like that. It doesn't work. But I can tell you that the acreage that we quote on the plan is the acreage based on an on-ground survey that we did of the property.
Is there gonna be any concern where you're taking the pipe that's there now seems to be broken? I thought I saw a note.
This pipe?
Yeah, it's a 12-inch pipe now,
Yeah.
so you're gonna make it a 15-inch pipe?
Mhm.
So you're gonna send more water?
No, that isn't the idea of this. We don't use 12-inch pipes anymore. In most of the communities, they won't even let us put a 12-inch pipe. 15 is minimum because of the cleaning them and keeping them unclogged. What controls what goes into this is going to be how we store this and release it. And we're going to be releasing water out of this after this development is done at a lower rate than what it does with the development the way it is today. That is the standard, that's what you have to apply. That's a state standard that we have to apply, not only a town standard.
I was gonna say, even the state started doing that. They cannot replace culverts on, along our property that had just deteriorated. And they replaced them, and they were 12-inch, now they're 15 for that.
That's more of
reason.
a maintenance
Yeah.
and really.
For cleaning and stuff. Gus, when did you say the Conservation Commission is meeting?
17th, third
17th?
Monday.
Oh, I thought you said the 7th.
No, the third Monday of February, which is the 17th.
And do we have a second meeting in February?
But I have to walk.
Scares me.
I thought so.
Because I want to be there.
The 25th. Yes.
Okay, so we'll be meeting on the 25th.
We will try to be there too.
Well, I was just thinking to give him the opportunity to go and speak with the Conservation Commission and to perhaps further work out his DOT situation, that we should continue the meeting.
I think so.
Yeah.
Their meeting started at 7.
Yes,
I believe so, yeah.
That's February 17th, correct?
yes.
Yes.
And does he meet right here?
Yes.
Usually right at this table.
17th.
Different cast of characters.
Now I can contact Eliza tomorrow and get you on the schedule.
And then I'll make a motion to continue this case until after they've had an opportunity to meet with the Conservation Commission and DOT.
We'll just set our date.
To February 25th?
Till February 25th, exactly.
A second.
For a second.
If you just
Oh,
did.
okay, sorry.
I didn't say it very loud, not tonight.
All those in favor of that?
I'm favor of what,
Of continuing this hearing until our next meeting on February
25th.
25th,
that's fine.
2014. After they've had a chance to talk to Conservation and DOT.
And I will share, we will share that letter with him
Yeah.
before we go to the meeting.
Yeah.
We'll get that right out to him. I wanted to bring it in here. We didn't really
Right.
have a whole lot
Oh,
of
I
time
think I
to.
have it.
So there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you leave this back?
Is that the one I gave the chair?
Yeah.
No, that's your copy. That's for the
Okay.
chairman, that's for the
Okay,
record.
Gus, can you make a copy of it when you do, please?
Okay. I don't know which way she's
Yeah, I was
going.
gonna say, why don't you make one for everybody if you would, please?
Everybody trained yet?
Well, we started interviewing today,
I can call if you want.
hopefully by Thursday. We'll finish the interviewing tomorrow, and then hopefully Thursday we can discuss it and make a decision, so that we can start training. Oh, yeah.
Very, I guess.
Yeah,
That's 9, yeah.
11.
11 now.
Good.
Wow.
Nice, good.
Some good talent out of that pool.
Yep.
I'm gonna read this tonight.
Well,
I'm already halfway through, I don't know.
I knew you would be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna start tonight, but I'll finish it tonight. You
catch
won't.
up, will you?
If you work, I don't.
I'm only reading every other word.
You don't.
So you read the words I'm reading the odd number words, you read
Yes.
the number.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Well, it's interesting too, if you just read every other page. It's like, oh.
Good, it's a great cure for insomnia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For those of you who are just.
If you go somewhere warm, bring some warm weather with you.
Yeah. Bring it back with you, right?
Yeah. You know, it's makes you appreciate my cruise in April that much more.
Yeah,
I do not mind snow. I hate this kind of weather.
yeah.
hope this gas is, because this really is a nice sewer.
It is, and, you know, I mean, what he's asking to do is not an unheard of thing, he's just gotta straighten things out. So,
Right down the hill from the country club,
Yep.
correct? Yeah.
it'd be nice to have that house that's so close to the road gone.
Yeah. Eyesore.
So what did you think, Christine?
Very businesslike, I like it. I mean, I worked for the state for 15 years, so I know how the
okay.
government works. And I did a lot of work with the planning board in Manchester.
You kinda know what to expect too.
Yeah, yeah. Now, does everybody like specialize in their own thing, or you just
Uh,
overall?
No, I think you find, for the most part, the more you come, each time you come, it's like a little something different that we might be covering, and before you know it, after 4 or 5 months, it's like, wow, I remember that. So, and, you know, the longer you're part of the board, the more you start, you just retain it, and, you know, between that, and you'll get a zoning book that has all of our zoning regulations and our subdivision and site plan regs. And, you know, as time goes by, you know, you learn what's in there, you know, just by using it, and of course, every time you've got to check your facts and stuff, it's amazing what you tend to retain. You know, sometimes it's like, wow, it kind of amazes even me that I remember that. So, but, you know, and it's, you know, it was quiet for a while, but we've been picking up a bit, so, as the economy's gotten a little better.
Oh, good, right?
So, there's coffee still.
I have one for the whole. You just killed another tree.
It's all right.
I did. What killed trees?
Robert,
I have a copy, but Eric, I have the original for that
That's
folder
interesting.
there. I'm just gonna put original on here, so, you know.
All right,
Okay,
We'll leave this and leave it alone.
should I put this in this file?
yes,
All right, it's on top.
thank you.
You might need a rubber band for that.
I know I do.
They're for my records, thanks. It's all over my car.
There's my bid.
All right, other
That's the
business.
public one.
Well, minutes.
Approve the January 14th, 2014. Doesn't say anything else, just says approve the,
Oh, Drew?
Yeah.
not the word, so.
I was
I'm assuming
keeping him
that's
short.
Minutes.
Yes, minutes.
All right.
I'll make a motion to bring the minutes of January 14th, 2014 to the floor for discussion and ultimate approval.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. All of those, any discussion? No. All those approved, in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Any corrections?
Yes, page 3. Says, Ms. Tilton asked to have Mr. LaPlante find out why Title Cash Homes is the number of unregistered cars. That was Mr. Pyra.
Oh, was it Mr. Platt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was in agreement, but it
Oh,
was
okay.
Mr. Pyra that brought it up.
Where is it?
Three.
And the reason they're there with unregistered is they take the plates in so they don't get stolen.
Yeah. Yeah, I stopped by there and
Oh, that's funny.
No, it's, that's the way it is, because if the people don't release their keys when they take them, they can come get them.
yeah.
And when my son repos, when he goes to put it on the truck, if they don't give him keys, then they can't get their stuff out. If they hand him the keys, then they can take their stuff out. It's the law.
Well, I know that because I watched
Repo.
Repo Man.
We can listen to it.
Self-like
Palm stars too, I guess.
That's where we get our new ordinances from.
All right.
Colin
Anyone
Starr.
else for the minutes? Anything else?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 14th, 2014 as corrected.
I second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm upset.
So noted.
And I'm
Okay,
I'm
Said she's
abstaining.
abstaining.
And I'm abstaining too.
Who
so-
seconded it, Elaine? Who seconded,
I
Judy?
did,
I suppose.
Oh, Jane,
but I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
okay.
So we don't have to bear me, we'll look at it.
May I ask who you have noted, reports for that need to be sworn in as far as the applications? You have one for Jane?
I do.
How about Eric?
Eric, I have a form here, he hasn't made it out yet.
Oh, let me go do it.
Brett?
We have to take a recess.
Yeah, I'm gonna swear at you.
Yeah.
Go speak slowly.
Are we gonna stop things for a minute? Oh.
Isn't there another one? No?
No, both of them were him.
What's today's date?
28th.
They were both him.
Okay, here's James, and then, of course, I have Christine's.
Okay,
Do you want both?
yes. And we'll do these as soon as the chairman is ready.
Here's your books.
Oh, thank you.
Can't you take your own one and
Did
just
you
put
get
it
everything you needed as far as
Please.
email address?
Yes, I have everything, because I emailed her, I have her phone
Okay.
number, I have her address.
Were you the one that left the voicemail?
Yeah, she was-
That was a Joyce.
It was Joyce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pick up because I don't recognize the number, so I won't pick up.
Well, I don't blame you, I do the same thing at my house.
Well, Kathy's voicemail was the most hilarious.
Oh, really?
She says, this thing is not in my pocket all the time, so leave a message.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, she says it, she used to say, it's in the truck, so.
I
Oh, yeah.
emailed you back.
I didn't get, maybe I got trash. Things or something.
I'm like that. Mine's in my pocketbook, I throw my pocketbook on a hook or something.
Down at the
Yeah.
bottom,
People say, I
we were
called you.
talking about the nights
Yeah,
and
or I'll
stuff.
pick up my phone and like, ooh, I got
Oh, you
messages.
did? Oh, you did call me.
Because there's a lot of people who are going, huh?
Well, Janice,
Now, how will I
it
know
was a
the
very
meeting
specific
schedule?
thing. Apparently, it's
Oh,
quite
I
a
didn't
big
give you
honor.
that, did I?
Okay.
And she
Second
was
and
very
fourth Tuesday of every
specific
month,
when I
except
was
for-
Second and
asking
fourth?
her
Except for March,
yeah,
we only do on the
Thursday
fourth
we
because
did
the second is
some,
election
Yeah.
day.
Faithful staff or whatever the board
And I think we
decides.
take-
I think we
Was
can
it
edit it
July?
accordingly.
Yeah.
No, that's
I'm
not
not
the,
even
never mind. Budget committee would take 4th of July.
Janice
Or like the
took
news.
out the record, she wrote
Now, if we
it.
have a vacation, do we need to notify
Doesn't
you?
Tell
necessarily
us, tell whoever,
Well,
You would just
the
call-
perhaps
Yeah.
that you can have
Do I have to spell this part up
line
down here?
detail, and
Um,
just put,
Ask, I don't
although
know.
this is very, it was quite an honor, and, you know, you wanted to
Sandy.
spell it out.
Like- This is the voting.
Wow. Okay,
do I need to fill out this bottom part down here?
no, just the top part, because you've already filled out an application, so you're
But if
done.
you can't come, you can either.
Do I have to sign this?
Oh,
Yes.
July 1st was one, it's not on here.
Well, I'm gonna make you sign it again when I
July
swear you
1st
in
was one
too.
that I'm gonna be gone, but it's not on here.
Yeah,
Alright.
so, yeah.
I'm good.
I just love to swear at people, so.
This just goes right back with the sex stuff that you had to look at before.
What is he zoning?
All right, did you wanna finish going through the mail, and then we'll do this? I don't care.
Let's do it now, why not?
All right. All right, I need Christine and Jane and Eric to raise your right hands, please. All right, now, let me read it here. Okay, I, and state your name.
I
Christine
see.
Singer.
Oh, Eric.
I knew you were gonna do
Wait, let's see
that.
who was first.
Yeah.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
discharge
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
incumbent on me
incumbent on me
as a planning board member
as a planning board member,
to do the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay? I need for all of you to sign down here where it says, you know, where it has the I so-and-so swear. Okay? Where's my pen?
I've got pens here.
Mr. Plessner. Oh, not Mr. Jessman, sorry.
Mr. Listener, I was gonna say, where's Joe come in?
Joe's not here.
It's the other Joe.
Wrong Joe,
I
had to
thought he
scroll
was
through the names
walking
in my
down
head.
that way.
No, no.
Mr. Jessman, what do we got the pleasure of your experience here today?
I was here for a interview earlier for the land use assistant.
Oh,
I am I've always, this is where I started, working in the town, being a concerned citizen, and I love land use. I'm a really weird guy.
we do that.
Now that's,
On top of which, I'm Sandra's backup.
now
I'm her
that's his,
alternate.
All right.
that's his story and he's sticking to it.
Yeah.
The real reason
You
is he
can pick and
found,
choose any of those.
I'll
he
take
found
it.
a tin of nuts and he loves nuts, so he figured he'd
That's another
stay.
story for another day.
Yep.
He's having supper.
Thankfully, none of us have a nut allergy.
Good thing we wouldn't be on, we wouldn't be on this board.
Okay, so,
Correspondence is really fast.
Oh, are we back on the,
Yeah, I never shut it off, I guess, so we're just on it.
all right. Ooh, we got a lot of
Quickly
experience.
have to watch the big movie.
All right, so I guess we move on to correspondence.
Yep.
Let's just define purple folder. And let's see, first on the top, the source. Newsletter of the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services Drinking Water Source Protection Program. Wakefield adopts new water quality protection language. New Hampshire NHDS, very interesting stuff here. So, a lot of that. So if anyone would like to read that, it's in the office. Then we have, let's see, New Hampshire Department of Transportation. This is regarding drainage issues. Map R24 lot 1-2.
That's Chili's.
Oh, thank you, sorry. Because it says Cole CH Tilton NHL.
Yeah,
I
Cole-
have no idea.
Cole
It's Phoenix,
CH.
Arizona, so I don't.
Yeah, they are the maintenance group or the managing group for that whole complex up there for
Alright.
Chili's, Lowe's, and Kohl's.
To whom it may concern, this is my second letter and a follow-up to my November 11, 2013 regarding concern the department has with an existing drainage system located adjacent to US Route 3 in Tilton, New Hampshire. Currently surface runoff from the lot on which the Chili's restaurant is located travels downhill toward a drainage swale located adjacent to US Route 3. This swale appears to have been designed to capture the surface runoff and direct the runoff to a catch basin and then into a closed drain system. Over time, the swale has collected silt or possibly is just overgrown with vegetation, causing the runoff to overtop the edge of the swale and run across the existing sidewalk and onto US Route 3. I have enclosed photographs taken today that illustrate the problem. If the existing swale were cleaned out, this would solve the problem, as all of the surface runoff would then be captured in the swale and directed to the catch basin in the closed drainage system. As stated in my prior letter, the cold temperatures have in fact caused an icing problem on the sidewalk and within US Route 3, both of which are safety and maintenance concerns. Please be advised if no contact is established with the district within 60 days, this issue will be referred to the New Hampshire Attorney General's office for resolution. I can be reached at that or by email at that to arrange a time to discuss the problem. William Rollins, Access and Utilities. It says attaching photographs, but apparently,
anyway, that's being handled by our code enforcement officer. He was gonna go out and talk to them. Because, yeah, Lowe's is responsible for the maintenance of that.
is it Lowe's or is it Chili's?
No, it's a Kohl's, it's a maintenance group and it's called
Yeah.
Kohl's, but not the Kohl's
I was
store.
gonna
It's
say,
the
I
other
thought it
one.
was cold.
The
It
owner
is
of the
Kohl's,
store,
yeah.
right, the owner of the plaza.
And then they like hire a maintenance group that takes care of all of
I'd be
that.
concerned with things like that. I don't know.
Why do we have to
Well,
always
that's
follow up with them?
Follow
Like they're supposed to be responsible when that sign came down, was knocked down. We had to call them. Now we have this. When the grass grows up around the Tilton sign, that's their responsibility to maintain that. Seems like they don't have any set pattern of taking care of anything. Do they know what
Well,
checklists are?
Schedule.
Well, they, it seemed like for a while, everything was being done, and then all of a sudden, nothing was being done. And why, I don't know, whether the people that were doing it quit and they were gonna get somebody else, I don't know what happened. But it has been a history of, for now, it seems like they'll be going along and everything's getting done, and then all of a sudden, it's not, so,
Sounds like a who problem rather than
Yeah.
a what problem.
Well, you
It
found their handle at some corporate location, right?
Well, yeah, there's a corporate location out in Arkansas, Arizona, and I had a contact there to do with something else. So I contacted her and got a hold of the maintenance group, that person that does this area, and talked to them about the sign. But it took me almost a year, I think.
I know.
At least 9 months to get that sign put back up.
Because that was my house.
But there was
For a while,
another
it had
group
been
that took
gone
care
so
of it
long.
before then, and then
Right.
this group, but.
But the grass was over the top of that sign at one time.
Yeah, but this year they did a very good job. I
Yeah.
noticed they did a very good job
I
taking care of the
haven't,
sign.
I didn't physically look at the letter, does that also, did they send that to the corporation, or did they just send it to
No,
the
they
town?
they sent it to the Arizona, I believe, the Arizona
Yeah,
group.
it's Cole, C-H, Tilton.
Okay, so they did send it
Yeah.
also.
Yeah,
to
Cole
the-
spelled C-O-L-E.
Yeah, it's a different
It's in
cold.
Phoenix,
Yeah.
Arizona. East Camelback Road, Suite 1100, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep.
So,
Okay,
they're 3 hours.
so they
behind.
got it too, it's not
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, they got it.
I got photographs that we didn't get.
Yeah, somebody came and asked me for the photographs. I said, I didn't get those. I only got was a letter.
I have closed the purple folder,
okay,
because there's only those 2 pieces of correspondence.
then I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
2 seconds.
Jump on it.
Usually there's no arguments there. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Never happened. So adjourned.
All right.
Have a nice day, everyone. And this is
How are
mine.
you?
I am making my pilgrimage on
Yep.
Thursday
Oh, that's
to
yours.
Charles Basin, Hoboken, New Jersey.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get this off. Eric,